Did you happen to watch my morning video about Nvidia talking about price target number 1? Because I'll tell you what, we nailed it on the money 100%. That was absolutely incredible. I'm going to give just a look at what we have coming up next week, just talking about where we're set up for Monday with what's currently on the charts. I'm definitely going to talk about Nvidia, give an update on that, and then I'll also give an update on the indices, the ETFs that track them anyway, SPY, QQQ, and IWM for the S&P, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000 stock. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to keep this nice and quick for you and tell you to have a very nice Friday night, and I hope to be back this weekend, especially with that Nvidia stock price prediction and earnings projection before their earnings come out, well before their earnings come out, so we can really look and see how we're lining up for things. So putting this up here, SPY. So a few things to note. One, and that actually should be brought to the front. Let's bring that to the front. Visual order, bring to front. There we go. So 556, I adjusted this price target. It was 553. I made it 556. We got about rejected there. We need to make it up above that. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean Monday we hit 556. And there's a few things that I worry about. One, there's a whole ton of resistance that's up in here. That's why I have this red rectangle here for you. Another thing, we have this gap down here. Now, mind you, we don't have to fill up the gap on Monday either. But if you check out what we had, we got rejection. We got a little bit more rejection here, although we did close up above that line. Not too bad, but it is shy of this previous peak. So that little double peak right there, not necessarily, did we get a higher high on that? So 554.87. And then over here, 555.02. So it did actually get a higher high on that one. That's actually really good news for us. So RSI bullish, volume a little bit low, but on a Friday, especially with where we're at right now, not that big a deal to see that sort of volume come out of it. So where could we possibly go on Monday? I think that we start looking for where the floor is on this. I think we found a current somewhat ceiling for right now. And then I think we come back down and check for floor. Now, if we are down below this line, we find that floor and we head back up and get a big green candle. That's a really good thing. That means found the floor, which I think today we actually see some of that already. Found the floor, found where the ceiling was, pulled back a little bit. And then when Monday comes, I think we're going to look for the floor a little bit again, and then maybe head back towards the ceiling. We're going to have to look, remember that gap down here to fill. So we do have support at 550 to 551. However, down here is also really critical support going all the way down to about 546. As a matter of fact, we can go down farther. The top of the price action there is 545. So that would be a significant gap to fill in there. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So just be on the lookout for that on Monday. See what happens to take place. The other price targets, I covered these in depth in my morning video yesterday. Again, look for the thumbnail that reads, I just wow. And that will give a full breakdown of all the price targets that you see for everything except Nvidia. Nvidia I covered in this morning's video. I'll give a recap and also a forward-looking statement for Monday. So let's move on from there into the Qs. So for the Qs, how we do today? Well, we're up above the 50-day. We're up above the 200. I believe we're also up above the 50 EMA. We got an EMA cross right now. That's a bullish thing over the 5 and the 50. With this yellow coming up for the red is also a very bullish thing to watch out for. So we're still in bullish position. RSI up above 50 as well. Good. So what happened was we found, let me see, we got rejected here. So that was a ceiling, found a floor. Next day, what did we do? We found out where the ceiling was, and then today found a little bit of a temporary floor, started to test out where the ceiling is, and there is something interesting that's happening right along here. Same thing with SPY. However, you can only put so much noise on a chart before it starts to become unusable. So what I try to do is I try to find a balance of just how much noise to put on the chart for the technicals and just try to hit some of the bigger movements rather than trying to hit every little nuance that's on there, because then it becomes unreadable and by that standard, unusable. By the way, if you guys want to learn to do technical analysis like I do, there is a link down in the description for that. You can click on the link for the course. Use the code word doctor when you sign up. It's going to give you a massive discount on that course. And then if you guys want to see my buys and sells and talk with me and my community members, there's a link for the Patreon down in the description as well. You can click on that, sign up, and head on over to the Discord. All right. So back to these, you guys can check out the links at your leisure here. So I said to watch for support. We had the support actually at the top of this area. As a matter of fact, I can turn this green now that we closed up above it if I can select it. Sometimes coordination is the hard part. So we're going to make that green and we're going to fill it up with green. There we go. So red turned green since I started reporting on these technicals. Price targets still hold them the same. So we hit price target 1 of 474. Now we're moving up to 487 if we can keep on to that. And there is a tiny gap here to fill as well down in this support area, so we want to be watchful for that. Moving over to IWM. For IWM, well, this is a little bit different of an interpretation than what we had for SPY and QQQ, because we went to see where the ceiling was and we found it. And then today we're like, okay, here's a floor. Went to look for the ceiling was, and guess what? We got pushed back down, rejected. We're back down below this resistance, and we're right at the top of a bullish channel. I'll move out to the monthly chart so that you can see. It's going to be a messy one, just so you know. Let me reset the view. There you go. Just look for the lines that you see in here, and that will, the diagonal ones, of course. I know I said it was going to be messy. It is messy, but when you go down to a daily chart on this thing, it's not nearly as messy anymore, especially if you get the right view on here. Like I said, it's always difficult to tell how much noise you should put in. So we got a high top wick here. So we tried to make that move up into here, found that resistance, got rejected, sold back down below it, but we're right on the top of the darn bullish channel for this one. So that could mean that we start continuing or keep looking for where that floor is exactly, because we just found a ceiling. So we'll start looking for this critical support to come in. Maybe we get down here, maybe we don't. We do have bullish signs happening, so it's possible that we do move up anyway, and we start looking for the top of this resistance here and see if we keep on traveling up. Now, all of that can happen within the same day. Just so you know, be on the lookout for it. We have the 5 about to cross the 13, the 5 over the 50 for the exponential moving averages. We're above the 50 in the 200. We're above the 50 on the RSI. All of those lead to a bullish bias. I still think that we're going to have some pullback into this area somewhere. I don't know how steep, how deep we go for that on Monday when it rolls around. But with all the other signs that we have, there's a bullish bias that if we do find a floor, chances are that we're going to rip up significantly from there. So I think that's what we should look for IWM as well. Now for the big one, Nvidia, check this out. I had a price target of 125 on this. I put it out this morning. I'm like, hey, we have all this free movement area up in here to get up to 125, and then we're going to hit resistance. And then, well, if you go ahead and take a look, put your candle right on that. The high price that we got today was $125.00. And I think that that's pretty fun and incredible. So if you go back and watch my videos from earlier, I think the thumbnail on it is called Dude. It was my evening video yesterday. SPY hit the price target. QQQ hit the price target. IWM hit the price target. Today, this morning, talking about what we had for Nvidia, hit the price target. Like, it didn't have to be a day, but it was really cool that it was a day for those price targets. And mind you, I am working on some services here. Some would be the technical analysis training that you could learn to do technical analysis with me in a live scenario. So I'd have a calendar, you would go and you would sign up, pay whatever fees over there, and then you would have hour session. So if that sounds of interest to you, just let me know down in the comments. Be like, yeah, that sounds totally cool. I'd be interested. And, I'd love that feedback. So I just get a feel for how many people out there watching would like to learn how to do this sort of stuff. Just a little bit of informal market research for myself. Anecdotal evidence is what I would be calling that, because it would just be a very informal survey, if you will. Just people watching the video, liking what they see, commenting down below, just expressing any sort of interest that they would have in such a thing. And mind you, I do appreciate the support you guys give just by watching this. So let's move over into Monday, because like I said, it's Friday. I want to get you guys moving along on this thing. What does that rejection up there mean at about 125? That means that, well, we found a ceiling for right now. Monday, we're probably going to be looking for a floor. And now, just like what I said for IWM and what I said for QQQ and SPY, there's a lot of bullishness still showing in the technicals on here. So even though we found a ceiling, we might start looking for where that floor is. And again, that can happen intraday on this chart. So it doesn't mean that we have a red day, a big red candle coming for us on Monday. It just means that there could be some part where we're down lower than where we closed today in the market. So just keep that in mind, that we could just retrace just a little bit since we're coming off of that resistance. Be like, ow, we hit our head. Now we got to come back down, find that floor, and then from there, we'll see if we push back up. If it comes all the way back down to this critical support, if it holds for us, that's actually a really good thing to watch that hold, because that means that we found the floor at a very critical level, and that means that we could rise up pretty significantly from there, especially in an intraday sense. So for Monday, watch for a floor to be found, watch for it to be somewhere in this area. unless there's some massive upswing, massive, I don't know what I just said, massive upswing in the market on Monday where the pre-market hours have us pushed up in here already, we could still retrace. Maybe we would come back down and hit the support that we'd have here. If we were already up in here already, we'd be above, so the resistance would be support instead. But like I said, just to summarize, for Nvidia, we found the ceiling today. We're likely going to be looking for where that floor is at some point in time, and it can be during the day, during the trading day. On Friday, it could be in the pre-market hours. And post-market right now, we're at 124.41. We closed at 124.58. So that's the commentary that I have. That's what to look forward to for Monday. So SPY, QQQ, they can both trade higher. I think they're going to be looking for a floor. Same thing for IWM and also for Nvidia. And I'm pretty excited about this new way of approaching the technicals. It's been incredible so far, and I can't. I know I mentioned stock mode before in this, that he and I, best friends, we're like brothers. We've known each other for about 17 years or so. And I don't reach out to him very much about technical stuff because he really does know his technicals. And I mentioned before about him creating the bread recipe. And that was about a year ago that I reached out to him and said, hey, check this out. Then the bread recipe stemmed from the spark of inspiration that I was able to send his way. And I think that this is round 2. And this is going to be really good for a lot of things, especially for the people here at YouTube, and even more so for the people in my community and in the stock mode community. By the way, the link for my community, for my Patreon, is down in the description. You can click that, sign up, and come on over and join us. We'd love to have you over there. And if you're also interested in learning more about technical analysis, especially if you're curious about what the bread recipe is as a trading strategy, I can tell you it is clean, simple, easy, like probably one of the most straightforward methods I've ever seen for trading with a very high rate of success. I can say that in my own personal experience, I've also seen Stockmo and the trading that he's done with it. And I can tell you about the community members that he has in his Discord who follow that. They also sing its praises. So check that out. Down in the description, the link for the technical analysis course. And, if you like what you see, sign on up. Make sure, though, that when you do use the code word DOCTOR, DOCTOR, that's also down. That coupon code is in the description as well. So that way you don't forget. You can go back. You can take a look at it. Thank you guys very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.